What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Off the Beaten Path podcast. This is episode number 21 with Misty Eyed. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good. And who are y'all and what do you exactly do?
All right. Well, I'm Megan. I am the lead singer.
I'm John. I'm the guitar player.
I'm Wes. I play bass.
And where the fuck is the drummer at?
He's actually not here right now.
Okay, but you do have a drummer.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Fuck yeah. Well, nice to meet y'all. And how did y'all all meet each other and form Misty Eyed?
Well, they started it, so
Yeah, we had a couple different projects happen, and things weren't really working out. Me and Wes were working together on some stuff, and a friend of mine worked with Megan at Roots Chris, and was like,
Shit.
"Hey, John's always looking for people to jam with. You're a singer. You should hit him up." So she hits me up, comes over, we jam a little bit, and then I go back to the guys, and I'm like, "So there's this girl." And then the rest is pretty much history.
Yeah.
She came over, jammed with us, and that's how Misty Eyed got started.
Yeah. It's funny. We had tried to start a few other bands before that. None of them really worked out. And then, we met Megan, and I was like, oh, this is the first vocalist that we've had that can actually sing.
Yeah.
We're going to stay with this one.
I do what I can.
Nah, and y'all mesh perfectly, and y'all sound is a very early 2000s, but modern. So what's your musical influences? Because you sound like kind of Evanescence, Megan. But y'all mesh so well together, and it's kind of hard to find that these days when it comes to let's do some old school shit. Let's not do modernized shit, but let's make it modern. So what's y'all's musical influences?
I think it's kind of funny. We all come from completely different backgrounds in music. I listen to honestly a lot of pop punk. I listen to a lot of 21 Pilots, Can't Get the Disco. I like Evanescence, Paramore, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, y'all come from heavier backgrounds, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely come from a lot of 2000s hard rock, alternative metal, that kind of stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Also like a lot of 90s alternative and grunge and things like that. That's kind of what I grew up on.
Yeah, and me, my dad got me into classic rock, early 60s, 70s, guitar kings, legends, stuff like that. That's kind of how I started doing that. And my mom was real into jazz music, so even I'm kind of tuned for that. And I like to take little influences from Spanish music or other cultures where I can and kind of throw it in there. But I'm kind of with Wes. I like a lot of the '90s metal, grunge. But lately, I've been listening to some of the newer alternative rock and metal that's been coming out, and just trying some different things. And I think that might be how that and mixing all our different styles together might be how we're taking some old styling stuff and kind of putting a new spin on it.
Right. Yeah, it really shows in y'all's music because, like I said, it does have that 2000s feel, but it doesn't feel like it's outdated. It doesn't feel like it's from the 2000s, And I want to start speaking on videos. So was the last video that y'all had, was that S.O.S? Or
Yep.
did you have, okay. And so did you rent out a storage unit? Is
We
that
did.
where that was shot at?
We did. We literally, how some storage units, they have a deal for the first month where it's $1 for the first month plus fees. We paid $25 total with fees for our location for our video.
Nice.
Oh, that's super cool.
And it was pretty much an oven. It was so hot in there. 'Cause we had
Oh,
to
man.
close the door to get the lighting right.
Yeah, in
Oh
May
my God.
while the sun's beating on it. So we're just baking.
Ooh.
Wow.
And y'all are in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hot in May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did it work with y'all? Because I'm sure you didn't have all the instruments hooked up, but you can't play drums quiet. So
Right.
were you just hey, let's do it, and if something happens, cops come? How was that?
We got some noise complaints for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The management of the storage company came out multiple times and interrupted us multiple times. So the day before, I go in there and I say, "Hey, I need a storage unit," and she's like, "Okay, how long do you want it?" I said, "Realistically, 3 days." And she's like, "Okay, great." And I was like, She's like, why do you need it for that long? And I was like, well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm going to shoot a music video in here. And she's like, okay. I was like, now, is that going to be a problem? I was like, because we are going to be loud. We have to play music through a speaker. Our drummer's really loud. Like, this shit carries. And she's like, oh, it shouldn't be a problem. You know, we got a little bit of business on the weekend, but it shouldn't be an issue. Well, that day she comes and knocks on our door like first 2 hours in, and she's like, I didn't realize how fucking loud you are going to be.
It's like, I told you.
And I was like, look, I told you. And she's like, well, you know, if you guys could turn it down a little bit, that'd be great. And I'm like, I can't turn down a cymbal. I can't turn down a cymbal. So we just kept doing it. And then she came back again, and she's like, look, guys, I got people complaining. Can you guys just hold off until they leave? And we're like, all right, we'll take a break. And then she came back again, and I think towards the end of the day, she's like, look, you guys have been at it for like 9 hours. Like, I thought this was going to be a quick thing. And I was like, man, we're coming back tomorrow, too.
I told you 3 days.
Right.
Because there were people that were moving out of their storage unit, like 3 units down. And they were like, I don't know. I guess they didn't like the fact that we were so loud. But it's like, y'all are leaving anyway.
Right. And y'all got some music to jam to, like, chill.
Right. It's outside. You're moving stuff. We didn't think it'd be that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not like you're at your apartment just chilling, trying to watch some CSI Miami.
Right. Yeah.
Look, guys, they went through hell to shoot this video, so if you haven't gone to see it, go look it up. Misty Eyed, S.O.S. It's a badass video, and I'm glad it all panned out. And I've always, like, ever since I was a little kid, it's always been like, man, if I see a music video and they're breaking shit, I'm just like, I want to do that so bad just to fuck a room up. Like, how was that? You know, just breaking shit and throwing stuff.
Dude, it was so much fun. Honestly, he was terrifying, though. Like, we were all, like, sitting back, like, you know, kind of watching everybody do their thing.
I enjoyed it a little too much.
You had some anger to let out.
There you go.
I was trying to get very into character and just, like, just wreck that shit.
It's like, you've never seen this side of him. Like, shit, Wes, chill out, man. You
Well,
good?
we need to sit down and have an intervention. What's going on?
That's exactly what we said right afterwards. Like here's another tear if you want to break this too.
Right?
That was the part.
Yeah, because, like, our videographer, he was like, you know, if it helps you kind of get in the spirit of it, like, yell, like, say shit, like, yell stuff. And, yeah. The guys definitely did. I think I was more like, I mean, I'm just gonna, you know, but it was scary.
Right. No, that sounds fucking amazing. That sounds fun because, like I said, it's always been a dream of mine just to break shit, like, and not get in trouble for it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny. There's one part, it didn't make it into the video where, like, I knocked over the shelf and then I started grabbing stuff off of it and I'm just, like, throwing it left and right as fast as I can. And there's this glass jar of pickles there, and the whole time I hear our drummer Mark screaming in the background, "Not the pickles, not the pickles!"
That was a mess. Having glass and, like, pickle juice everywhere.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's
Yeah.
too, because I hate, like, overly powered dill and vinegar. Ugh.
Yeah.
There was a can of soup that busted.
Yeah,
And I think it cooked too.
It did. We, like, came back the next day because, like, you know, we were gonna clean up after everything was kind of said and done, and we are like, oh my god, what? Like, we knew what happened, but we're like, what happened in here?
Right.
Like, it's cooking.
That's crazy. So speaking of cooking, what was cooking in the not coming home video on the oven? It looked like a pot of beans, but I need to know.
It was like pasta sauce.
Pasta sauce, hell yeah.
Pasta sauce was cooking, and there was some noodles that were cooking too. Because I was like, we need something something's at the house cooking, but there's nobody home to attend it, right? Because we're not coming home, right? So that was cool because we actually burnt that shit, and like it's nasty.
Yeah, it was like spaghetti or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was spaghetti and sauce, and
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Because we were like, well, we need the smoke for the room and everything. Well, we got it.
There you
Hell
go.
yeah.
I also think I had some fog to make it a little smokier.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did use a fog machine too.
Give it
Yeah.
that little dramatic effect.
Hell yeah. Definitely.
Dude, when I was a teenager playing, like, in church and stuff, man, I loved it when they put the fog machine on when we walked on stage. I'm like, I'm a rock star.
You're
right now.
cooler.
It
Way,
looks
way cooler. And
Yeah.
you feel taller too because like you can't see your feet, so it's like where do his legs end?
It's kind of
I
like
love
when
that.
you put flames on the side of something, it makes you go faster.
Mm-hmm.
right,
Yep.
exactly. Yep, 100%. And Wes, do you play any other instruments?
I do. I actually started out playing guitar, and then
Okay.
I'll like dabble with the keyboard and some other stuff too.
Yeah, I saw Wes and I saw bassist, and I'm like, mine automatically goes to Wes Borland, fucking Limp Biscuit. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
he's
I'm
awesome.
like, all he has to do is put on face paint, and he's got the Limp Biscuit shit going on. Wes bassist, hell yeah,
He's also left-handed, man. Seeing that video y'all
man.
did for the 59X Records Fest.
Yeah,
At first, I thought I was like, "Is that a mirror image like composite video?" And I was like,
And then
"Oh
you
no
see
shit!"
John, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I was
actually
like, "No, I love left-handed people with a right-handed person in a band. It's so cool to see that symmetry."
very symmetrical. Yeah.
yeah,
and on stage we'll plan it out too, where we like, look, I'll get on this side, you get on that side, and it'll make Megan look really important.
And I don't get hit with a neck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
If I'm on the wrong side, Megan might get hit in the head.
yes,
It is kind of funny though, because whenever someone's like, "Yeah, can I like borrow a bass?" Like, "Hey, I just want to play something," or like, "You can't borrow his." It's like,
right,
That is very frustrating the other way around. When I tell people I play bass or guitar, and they're like, "Oh, I have one right here. Play something for me."
ah,
Play that one.
Right?
it does take you out of that though.
Yeah.
It's just like, "Oh yeah, you got to play something," because I get that like, "Oh, we'll sing something right now." And it's like,
right.
"Oh, I'm left-handed. I can't."
Exactly, man.
I wonder
That's
how many
awesome.
people doubt him. Like you can't really play, dude.
Like,
Exactly.
Just making excuses.
Yo.
Right.
So,
funny.
and how did that come about, Wes? Because when I first started playing guitar, I wanted to play left-handed, and I wanted to play it upside down because I was like, man, Jimi Hendrix, and also Kurt Cobain left-handed, so I wanted to play left-handed. And
Paul
I tried
McCartney.
it, and I tried it, and I tried it. It didn't work. I was like, fuck it, I'm right-handed. It's not happening. So, are you left-handed in everything else?
Yes, I've been
Okay.
left-handed my whole life. So, like when I first started playing, of course, all I could access was a right-handed guitar. Tried playing it upside down, that didn't really work. Tried putting the strings on backwards, that didn't really work. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna have to go buy a left-handed guitar."
Down.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you guys still believe in guitar solos because I feel like that's kind of been taken away from rock. So thanks
Yeah.
for thanks for still incorporating that because there's nothing better than a guitar solo.
True.
That's his specialty.
Yeah.
I've actually got a solo I'm working on right now that I showed these guys, and they were like, "Yo, that's your best one yet."
Oh shit!
The
Yeah.
new one he's working on is so fucking sick.
Oh shit!
It's got this nice flow to it because the way I'm looking at it is I'm building in phases. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to use this technique on part one, this technique part two, this technique part three, and then end it with this, and it just makes it like I'm trying to make it to where it really enhances the song rather than just being like thrown in there.
And I can't think of which song it is, but you do it really well in the song that I'm thinking about because it's not your just typical solo of fucking tapping and pull offs and hammer-ons and shit. Like it has rhythm to it. It's like kind of bluesy, and it's like so. If you're saying that this is your best one, I can't wait to fucking hear it in whatever song y'all come up with.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
And then writing a solo, where does your mind typically go to start the process? Is it melody first, or is it rhythm first, or you're mentioning techniques? Or is it like technical ability first?
So it's kind of a little bit of all that. I guess what I look at is I figure out what my chords are, right? And then I start thinking, okay, do I want to stay tonic? Do I want to stay on one note and just play around that note? Like for example, if I'll pick like the main note of a chord progression and I might just stick around with that. And then I might, okay, now I'm going to change it and now I'm going to play based it off of this note, which harmonizes with that last note, and then like kind of change it up some things. And then I also think like if I'm jamming and I come up with this like really cool technique, or if I'm learning this really cool technique, I'm like, yeah, I want to use this, but I want it to do it here. And a lot of times in my solos, I'll change keys. Like I just play around with it a bunch of times. I also think of like melodies. Like I want something that's going to be kind of catchy. and I want it to be sick. I want people to hear my solo and say, I want to pick up a guitar. You know,
Right.
man, that sounds cool. So that's how I add some of the rhythm. Get the head bobbing in there. You get
Mm-hmm.
people's heads bobbing, they're gonna remember your shit.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of it all. It just kind of comes like it comes in waves. I'll take 12 different riff ideas or shredding ideas, concepts, and then I'll narrow it down to like four.
Hell yeah, man. And when did you start playing guitar? Because at some point there was a time where, someone did a solo or someone did something. You're like, damn, I want to do that. And now you want to be able to do that to other people. But when was that time when you picked up the guitar?
I was in middle school. I think I was like 12, 12 or 13. I don't remember exactly, but I remember my dad was showing me this band called Deep Purple. A lot of people
Yes.
know them, from like Smoke on the Water, like that's like
Yeah.
a song. But they had a couple other songs that were really cool. There was this one called Lazy and really bluesy, really killer guitar, and I was just like, man, that's sick. And then my mom at the time she was big fans of like Van Halen, and so I'd be listening to some of that. And I remember I would ask my dad, I was like, I want a guitar for Christmas, and he's like, don't you think you like a bass better? And I'm like, don't tell me what I want. I want a guitar, you know. And it was just like, oh, well, maybe put it off, put it off. And then one day, my older brother, comes home with a guitar,
Mm.
all kinds of upset because I'm like, bro, I wanted one, and then you went and bought one. And for a while, he didn't want me to play the guitar because he was like, no, you can't play my guitar while I'm at work. And I did it anyway. And that's kind of how I started playing. I kind of stole my brother's guitar and his books and would practice more than him. And eventually I got better than him. And I remember one day, this was like maybe like a year into me playing. I asked him, I said, man, I looked at my brother because I was real close to my brother, still am. And I was like, you think I'll ever turn this into a career, ever get it in front of people and play and make this into something? And he looks me dead in the face and he says, you suck. You're always gonna suck. And you'll never get there. And
Fuel.
I took all of that and balled it up and made it into fuel.
Yep.
And then like 4 years later, he comes to me and he says, I'm proud of you. And then he hands me this $450 guitar he bought for me.
Oh shit.
And I was just like, bro. And that was the moment right there. I was, yeah.
That's so gangster.
Fight.
I learned it out of spite. I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna learn how to play, and I'm gonna get to where people actually enjoy it.
Hey man, that's what it takes sometimes because that same situation, someone could be like, damn, I do suck and I am always gonna suck, so why am I still playing? But you did the fucking opposite and was like, all right.
Like, I'll show you suck.
Yep. Give me a second.
Right.
1 second.
Hold
Hell
my
yeah.
beer.
Yeah, hold my
Hell
beer.
Yep.
So
And now
what's
we've been able to play in front of like the coolest like audiences. So yeah.
and did y'all play with Hollywood Undead? Did I see that?
Yep.
Yep.
When, where, how?
There's a venue in Atlanta called Masquerade,
Mhm.
and
Yep, been there plenty of times.
oh, it's such a good venue.
Yeah.
It's so good.
The old school one's awesome, but the new school one, the old school one has a we can reminisce and shit, but the new school is
It's-
bad as fuck. Like
I don't know, man. The floor doesn't flex. I don't like it.
it doesn't, but still,
It's too stable.
It's too safe.
Yeah.
right?
Way too stable. And all this chaos we're going on, we need some instability.
But yeah, to the people that's not watching, or not that's not watching, to the people that's
Motherfuckers
not
not tuned in right now.
to anyone watching and hasn't been to the Masquerade, hasn't heard of it, it's a staple in Atlanta, a classic venue. But continue with your story.
Yeah,
Hollywood Undead.
we got to play their Heaven stage, and we played in front of almost like 25 or not 25, like 1,500, 2,000 people.
It was sick.
Sick.
And-
I got
and
to
that's
ground
packed.
surf. It was great.
That's packed out in heaven, like
Yeah.
the floor and the upper, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
love
was
that.
packed.
Mhm.
I think how we got that gig, at the time, Bad Wolves was actually opening up for Hollywood Undead, and we were planning to go to Rockville down in Jacksonville, Florida that weekend. So we had already bought tickets, booked a hotel, all this good stuff. And then one of our friends that worked at a talent buyer at the Masquerade, he came up to us and he was like, "Hey guys, I don't know if you're interested, but Bad Wolves just got booked for Rockville in Florida, so they cannot play that night opening up for Hollywood Undead."
Oh
So
shit.
there's a spot open, and we're like, fuck yeah, we'll take it. So we took it. We got to play right before Hollywood Undead, and then immediately after, we packed up our shit, dropped it off the house, and then drove 6 hours south to Jacksonville, and then saw Hollywood Undead and Bad Wolves play the very next day because we were also going there, and it was just a really exhausting and really cool weekend.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like a
Yeah.
very cool weekend.
it was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all had a good 2 days.
Yep. And it was so funny too because we got down to Jacksonville, and the next day we saw Hollywood Undead, and they were like, "What's up, Atlanta?" And we're like, "That was yesterday. You're in Florida."
It was the biggest fail moment.
It was so funny.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Right? It's like, wow, we must have really made an impression on Hollywood and Undead.
Right. Fuck
Yep.
yeah.
That was
You
the
know,
same
when we were
like burst into their dressing room too.
Yeah,
You're
'cause
like, sorry, not to burst in on y'all.
we were all backstage, and I had had a few drinks, and they were like, "Oh, I want Megan." We had a flag, and she was like, "I want to see if they'll sign it." And I was like, "Shit, let's go ask them." And I just go burst into their fucking dressing room, and they got like shirts off. I don't know what they were doing, but funny man's like, "What's up?" And I was just sitting there talking to him about it, and just real casual, like, I don't know who this guy is, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I think we got one of them to sign our flag or something." But I'm talking to him about not Blue Ridge. I'm talking to him about Rockville the next day, and I was like, who they were playing, and I was like, "Yeah, man. So after this, you guys are going down to Jacksonville," and they all were like, "Yeah, whatever the schedule is, we don't know. Like, we just get in the bus and they take us." It was really cool though. We got to talk to him for a little bit, and I turned an awkward situation into kind of like a social interaction.
Right.
And I asked them, I was like, "Bro, can you give us a shout out tomorrow while you guys are in Jacksonville?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, you guys are playing?" And we're like, "No."
No. Well, we take some free marketing though.
He's like, "Wait a minute, like, you want me to give you a shout out, but you're not playing?" And I was like, "Hear me out, bro. You miss all the shots you don't take. So me coming and asking you is not costing me anything."
Is exactly.
And he looked me dead in the face, and he's like, "I respect that."
He's like,
No.
"Oh, but I respect you for trying."
Right.
But in a way, he kind of did give us a shout out when they embarrassed themselves, and they were like, "What's up, Atlanta?"
They're probably
Right.
Right.
remember that band that wanted us to give them a shout out.
Nah, that's G shit because it's like, yeah, one of the realest things you can do is just ask straight up because, the worst thing they're gonna say is no to anything.
Yeah, it's not like they could kick us off the show. We'd already played.
That's
Yeah, for sure.
that's the worst that's gonna happen is nah, bruh. Alright. Cool. I try.
Yeah.
So speaking of like going back to your brother being like, you suck, you're always gonna suck, you ain't gonna be shit, and you're like, alright, I'll show you, and now y'all are here. What's the end goal, if there is one, or what's the next goal and how do you get there?
Like as a whole band, or like
Yeah, as a whole band, because I mean, of course, Corona fucked a lot of shit up. But like, is the end goal to be like, this is my job?
Yeah,
I don't work anymore. 4-time job, 4-time touring.
that's exactly what we want. I think I can speak for all of us that we just want to pretty much be able to live off of what we love, and there's nothing wrong with working 9 to 5 to support your dream, but eventually we want our dream to support our livelihood. Because then if you love your job, it's like you're never working. So me personally, like if I could get to where we could play a tour full time, or put out music and make some revenue full time enough to pay the bills, I'd be happy with that.
And what's the next step in getting there for y'all?
Man, getting out and playing shows again.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait for that to happen.
Honestly.
Yeah, one thing that just kind of triggered in my mind with y'all's sound, it's edgy and alternative, but it also has that very polished kind of mainstream vibe to it. Y'all's music would be really good for like some music licensing too, like some action movie type shit.
That's actually
that'd be
another
great.
thing that we're working on. Our management company is helping us get that kind of stuff set up. I think there was even talks about trying to sell Run to Nike to use in a commercial or something, like a running or whatever. But we got to figure that out and do some paperwork. That's part of the stuff that we don't quite get. We know how to play the music, we can play some shows, but we need help when it comes to the business.
Right.
But that's why you get a team to help you. You know, the things that you're weak in, you find some people who are strong in it and work together. And fortunately, our record label is providing a really good team for us. So the next steps are definitely things like licensing, getting more online presence, um, you know, just refining our brand a little bit, our content a little bit, um, getting some more music out, all that stuff.
That'd
And
be so cool. See our song on a Nike commercial or something like, hey, that's us. Like,
and
Yeah, for sure.
and hey, guess what? Every time that commercial runs, you get a check in the mail.
Ching.
yup.
Yeah, I mean, that's where some good money is. Like,
Mhm.
Oh, that's royalties and back end. Yeah,
yep.
Oh yeah.
you're set then. And fuck 59X. So Bobby mentioned the fest, and you just mentioned having the record label and them building a good team around y'all. Who are they? And why did you feel like it was right to sign with them?
Oh man.
Well, 59X, the the producer is Peter Catalano. I think that's how you say his name.
Mhm.
Excuse me, Peter, if I butchered that. Um, he's super cool. He signed us at the beginning of 2020, and then of course COVID all happened, so that was kind of a bummer. But he just recently started working, like the label's been expanding and started partnering up with Amy Rogers, right?
Mhm.
And she is based out of Arizona, and Peter is here in Atlanta. And so they've got this cool dynamic where you know, she's handling like the business side of things. She's got a few people under her, and Peter's handling like creative creation side of things. Like, you're gonna come to my studio, I'm gonna record you, I'm gonna produce you, I'm gonna master, mix, etc., etc. And it's pretty cool because like we get on weekly calls with them. They help us set goals, help us figure out what we got going on, help us with just making sure that we've got everything in line to execute those next steps to ultimate, you know, success, monetization, you know, things like that.
And something I have a question about. I'm not sure if y'all have done it, so I'm not sure if y'all have any insight on it. But I'm always curious about, like, say you release 3 videos on your YouTube page, but then you have a distributor or something that releases your video on their page. So they have maybe, more subscribers, more eyes are gonna see it. Is that something that y'all have done yet?
I think we've had to do that with 59X on the new videos because they're having to release it through their channel rather than us doing it on our own.
Yeah.
And their channel's getting more traction, so ultimately
Okay.
that's better for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been doing that, but we haven't done it on any like major scale. But I
Right.
would say that's not me in the future, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a good move. Whatever brings you more eyes, as long as it's, they say all publicity is good publicity. Well, there is some negative publicity that you can get, but as long as you're bringing eyes to you and it's not negative, and it's like, man, I fuck with them. I've never heard of them. Let me go check out their page. Bam, you got more people. So, yeah, definitely, I'm all for it, 100%.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's really cool. I'm excited to see how the Run music video goes because they um they have a new company that they're going through, and it's gonna be cool because I think it's gonna be the first like full like new song, new everything through 59X because
Mm-hmm.
S.O.S, it was a rewrite of Since Soy. So it's gonna be really cool to like kind of go through that full process for the first time with them and see how it
Hell
turns.
yeah. Hell yeah. I'm excited to see the video for Run because I mean the song in itself is good and just the teasers that we've gotten, it's like hell yeah, but 428, April 28th, I'm ready for it. I am definitely ready.
Yeah,
And and
it's
that's
fun.
and that's being put on their page, you said?
Mhm.
Hell yeah. I'm definitely excited for that. And are y'all currently working on the project?
Mhm.
And I know you don't have maybe a release date or an actual name, but what direction are you wanting to take it? Is it a new direction because I noticed y'all deleted everything on your Instagram. So then you started back at the start of the year, so there's some shit going on, shit cooking up.
Yeah,
Yep. Going for that new aesthetic, that new branding.
And are with a project, because if you're an artist, you're always working on a project, whether it's about to come out or whether it's gonna come out in 2 years. But do you know if you want it to be like an EP or actual project, or how do you want the rollout to be? Do you want to release singles because people consume it better, or
I think for the next few releases, we're thinking we're thinking the single route, but I mean there could be some EPs coming up. You know,
Yeah,
hell
honestly,
yeah,
it's not 100% up to us, so we're not entirely sure. It's still a little up in the air what we're gonna do next, but we're thinking possibly that direction.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're writing some sick music. Uh, I can definitely say that. There's a few songs that I'm really excited like to show you guys, to show the world, like oh, just bursting with energy. Uh,
right?
but what we'll do is we'll probably sit down and we'll probably pick like the best two or three that we got right now, and maybe release those either as singles or we might release them as an EP. Those kind of things we hadn't quite figured out just yet. Once we finish the songs though, we'll have some more options and ultimately some bangers.
But
I
yeah.
mean, all y'all release is bangers, so I wouldn't think otherwise.
Hell yeah.
One of
Yeah.
y'all's us. Oh, go ahead, Megan.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like we've been really stepping up our songwriting. So these new songs that are, gonna come out in the next however many months or years or whatever, we're really, really, really excited about them. So,
Yeah, I can say the next chapter of Misty Eyed is probably going to be the best one.
mhm. Yeah.
That's
I'm looking
scary.
forward to see what's coming next because, like Nate said, everything y'all have put out so far is really good.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
what's y'all's songwriting process? Do y'all come up with a theme and then co-write between the instrumentalist and Megan, or lyrics first, or does the music come first and then Megan puts the lyrics to it?
It's really, really collaborative. Some songs I come up with like on piano with vocals, or sometimes one of them will come up with a riff, or they'll come up with like a section of song, and we'll just kind of like jam it together and make it work and give everyone's opinions. Like, oh, maybe this could be better, maybe this could be better, maybe change this. So we try to make it like a really group effort.
Yeah. And sometimes we take different approaches on songs. Like we might start with the lyrics or vocals for one song, but like start with a specific instrument on another song. And
Yeah, I feel like we all three of us have different ways of writing.
mm,
So like Wes, for example, he'll get on Guitar Pro and he'll program the whole song and he'll be like, all right, this is kind of what I want the guitar to do. This is what I want the bass to do, drums. Megan, she'll get on her piano and she'll do like some ballad shit, or she'll play something and then we might take that, change key, put it in a different turn, and then me, I lately I've been thinking like I want to start off with an idea, like a thesis, and surround that around like an emotion, a feeling, something inside me that's inspiring this, and then I try to translate that to the music, and then I'll come to Megan and I'll say, okay, so I got this song, this is the feel for it, this is the emotional appeal that I'm going for. What can we write this about? Can we write it about A, B, or C? And then we start talking about lyric ideas and song ideas and stories, and it's really cool.
Man, I yeah, I love that because all the bands I've ever been in, we've had that collaborative effort, but when it actually comes to lyrics, it's always been the vocalist. Like he comes up with all the lyrics, and I've always just said, "Bruh, do anything you wanna do it about, personal, whatever. Just don't make it interreligious, since I'm a religious person." And he's like, "All right, cool." It's always been that way, but yeah, I've never been like, actually, you should say this, or maybe let's change it this or this flow, or like I think that's really cool that y'all actually do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like we'll do it to more than just the lyrics. Like we'll jam with the drummer and we'll be like, hey, that one spot's not fitting. Can we maybe swap out this symbol for that symbol? Or we'll be like, hey, that guitar line's not fitting. Maybe we can do it an octave higher. Or hey, can we get a little bit groovier of a bass line? Or hey, maybe instead of doing two syllables here, we do one and we
Mm,
just extend it. And so what if it's grammatically incorrect? It sounds good. Or things like that. We that's why Megan was saying it's really collaborative because in the end of the day, we're all trying to make each other better.
right.
So it would be hurtful if you had a better idea that you're not expressing to the other. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if I'm not just gonna be like, dude, your shit sucks.
Right.
I'm gonna be like, hey, let's make it better. Put
It-
this chord in there instead.
Right.
And that takes like just whatever ego is in the room. It's like y'all just kick it out, and it's like, okay, I know he's not doing this, or I know she's not doing this because it's garbage, but they hear something that's probably going to be better. So let me and take into consideration, because I'm sure that you brought something, someone's brought something to the table and been like, hey, I think it should be this way. Tried it out. All right, yeah, it didn't work. I thought it would be good. It's not. Let's keep it your way. You know?
Yeah, like we all have the common goal of trying to make the best song possible. So we're gonna work together and like tweak it and mess with it until we can get it as good as we possibly can.
Hell
And
yeah.
that took a long time to kind of cultivate it. Like,
Yeah,
we've
sure.
kind of gone through some players in our history of going on 5 years now, and a lot of those people that we've kind of gone through usually couldn't take the criticism very well, and we're not
Right.
hurting anybody's feelings. We're just trying to, like Wes said, make the best song. So if it means less notes, it means less notes. If it means a different chord, it means a different chord. You know.
Yeah, and not every player's been on board with that mentality. There's some that's like, oh, I don't want you coming up with my parts for me, or this isn't fun to play, or different things like that.
My way or the highway type bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, get out of here, man. Like, chill. We're trying to make good music, man. I ain't trying to tell you you suck.
Right. That's it.
Right. And of the songs y'all have released, what's your favorite song that you've written so far?
Oh man.
Mm,
I feel like artists' songs are always like their newest. So it's
It
like,
is.
man, it's like it
Every
hasn't been
time.
released yet. Oh,
yeah,
but out of our
for me,
release songs.
I'd say SOS or Run. SOS has always been like one of my favorites since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why is it your favorite?
I don't know. I just love the flow of the song, like the riffs and everything. For me, it's just a badass song.
Is it your favorite song to play live?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. I think that's an easier question, is what's your favorite song to play live? Because if you ask me the favorite song of our band, I'm probably going to tell you the newest song. But if you ask me my favorite song that we play live, I'm like, oh, yeah. The second song we play, that's my favorite one, you know? Yeah, most definitely. And,
I think mine would probably be like Not Coming Home, just because the end of that is so like it's so fun vocally. Like I get to like really belt out and like, yeah.
hell yeah. And
With
are you
your-
just...
I was going to say, with your vocal cadences, where do you draw a lot of your inspiration from?
Probably 21 Pilots. They like to
yeah.
they like to sing really quickly. They have like some rap verses every now and then, and they fit a lot of words in a really short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I also enjoy doing that. So sometimes I have to work on it though, because there's time and place for everything. But yeah, probably 21 Pilots the most.
Yeah, because
No,
I really enjoy how you do the staccato kind of like fast runs, and then you just hold a long note, and you usually go high with it, so it sounds really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that shit's not easy because it is like you're rapping, you know, like if you just take out the instruments and put in some fucking 808 and a snap and have your vocals over it, you just spit a hot ass 16 bar verse.
You know what? I'm gonna play around with some Fruity Loops later, and we're gonna see what we can do. You know what I'm saying?
Do it. Have a
Speaking
remix.
of Fruity Loops, man, Soldier Boy put Atlanta on the map with a Fruity Loops beat back in the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, 2007, Crank That Soldier Boy.
Yep.
Shout out this Soldier Boy because he don't get the credit he deserves.
Nope.
He
You
did
wouldn't know
that.
about Fruity Loops if it wasn't for him. I got the free version after I heard that song.
Yep, and then I fucking went to Pirate Bay and got it illegally. Sued
I was
me.
about to say, was it actually free or did I steal it? I can't remember.
Oh man,
Oh,
fuck
man.
yeah.
Good old Pirate Bay.
Pirate Bay, that was that shit. That was that shit.
Yep, you better have a virus protector, though. Shit.
Right.
Oh man, mom's
files
gonna
were
come home
corrupt.
mad as fuck. I gotta buy a new hard drive.
Again? Why won't y'all just go buy music? It's like, shit, that's $9.99 CD.
Yeah, it's too much money. Too much.
3 hours on Pirate Bay, I got a full collection.
And now we're the older guys that are doing the music, and we're like, damn it, there's no money in this. Like, fuck.
Right.
Yeah, we fucked it up.
You should listen to Metallica.
Yeah. Oh,
Weird.
man.
Yeah, we're definitely the ones that fucked it up, and now we're the ones complaining about it. But speaking of cooking up some fresh beats on Fruity Loops and shit, John, like your videos of the fucking pork butt and the chicken. Look, I like to cook. I don't know shit about grilling, so you got me on that 100%. But, bruh, I couldn't smell it, but I could smell it.
They got to come out with that like 5D or 4D camera. So you can start sniffing the shit.
That'd
Hey,
be awesome. I would love that.
They used to have the things on. I don't know if y'all remember, but they had the things on Nickelodeon where like you could buy a book, and then the next week it would like come on a show or some shit, and you could scratch and sniff what's on the TV at the time. That's the closest thing, but
I do not remember that. He's mentioned this so many times. He's like, "You remember those books?" I'm like, "No."
What?
I don't
No.
remember that.
That's cool.
yeah, it was some cool shit. But if they can actually do it to where you can smell it's gonna happen eventually. But bruh, like, is that like when do you start cooking? Because you know what you're doing.
So, man, really the question is, when did I start eating? Because I don't know. Like, so growing up, my mom and dad they worked a lot. So I was usually when I was old enough to have a babysitter or whatever. I got older and I'd cook a lot for myself. My mom liked to cook. My dad liked to cook. So it's just a thing that I've always been around. But it wasn't until like a few years ago where I started dabbling into like smoking. And I got this little grill that was left at my job. Somebody left it there, and I asked my boss. I said, "Yo, is this trash?" He said, "Yeah." And it was a little like bullet smoker, like it was rusted and shit. I was like, "I'll take it home." I took it home, and I just did a little bit of research. I Googled a little bit first, and I said, "Okay, I want to do a pork butt. See, can I do that? Can I make pulled pork?" And my boss at the time, he was also into smoking, and he's like, "Look, man, do this, this, and this, and I'm telling you, it'll be beautiful." So I did that, played around with it, and here I am a few years later, and now every time I make one, it's like a staple. It's just a melt in your mouth, sweet, savory, spicy, tangy barbecue, and it just anytime we have a family function or like an event, like the other day for Easter, we went over to one of my friend's house and we had this like little potluck, and I brought like a 15-pound pork butt, all shredded up. I make this homemade sauce, and I smoke the sauce too.
Oh man,
I saw
I
it.
love smoky sauce. Oh my god.
I'm hungry.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, shoot, we got time.
So
So
look what smoke. Hey man, I'm 4.5 hours away, so 8 hours smoke. That's dinner time, John.
yeah, it takes a long time. So my butts usually take about 10 hours, 11 hours with prep time. And I'll run it down for you real quick. It's really easy. So what you do is you take your pork butt, you clean it off, then you lather it with mustard, like a little bit of mustard. You make a rub, basing it with brown sugar, paprika, garlic powder, salt, pepper. I put a little bit of sage in it and mustard, ground mustard. I mix that all up, and then I rub that down really good. And then I get my smoker up to about 200, 250-ish. Put it on the smoker. I'm usually smoking with apple wood, cherry wood, or pecan wood, sometimes hickory, depending on what I have available. And then I make this little sauce that's basically, it's apple cider vinegar, Worcestershire, however the fuck you say that, some maple syrup, and then the rest of my rub. Like I'll have a little bit of the rub up there. I'll pour that in the sauce. Put it on the simmer for about 10 or 15 minutes, let it thicken up a little bit, and I use that to inject the butt. So I put it on the grill, and then I inject the
We're
butt.
not handling this very maturely.
There's so many butt jokes. Oh my god.
All the butt jokes.
Everyone loves
That
John's ass.
master over here.
I'm the ass man. And then whenever I serve it, and everyone's like, "Man, this is great," I said, "All right, guys, how does my ass taste?" And everybone laughs or whatever, and I'm like, "It's nice, isn't it?" So
He's got such a nice ass.
so many
And
butt
everybody's
jokes.
just eating that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to presume that I'm going to ruin this for you because you probably know, but this ruined my life. When I found out that the pork butt is the front shoulder and not the ass.
Yeah.
Yep.
That bothered me. I'm like, why did they do that?
Maybe for the inevitable butt jokes.
That I'm going to stick with that. I won't give the real reason away. I'll stick with that.
Hey,
I was so pissed. I was pissed off.
I didn't know that's now I'm pissed off, but there was a butt at the end of the S.O.S video, so cheers to butts.
I'm gonna
Cheers.
cheers with a tropical smoothie cup.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
Smoothie.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. Fuck yeah, guys. This shit's been fun. I've had a good time. Is there anything else that you guys maybe want to promote or get out there? Or, I mean, I know we got the run video on April 28th that we mentioned.
Just go hang out with us on socials. Misty Eyed GA. Every Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
You can check out our website,
Yeah.
mistyeye.rocks.
Yep.
We got some cool merch. We
I
have
was about to say badass merch.
we got some masks that people can get. We may be calling them, once the mask mandate lifts from COVID, we might rebrand them as face shirts, to keep your face warm.
Dude,
They're very
we
good.
went to Brevard, North Carolina in January, and like we were all wearing our mask out in nature because it was so cold. And if you can't tell, this is a 4-month mustache for me. And I'm like, I wonder if this is what beard feels like.
Yeah.
Probably not, but
Get your Misty Eyed face shirts from our store. You can check it out,
Face shirt.
mistyeye.rocks.
Yeah, whether or not we have to wear masks, honestly, around wintertime, I will be wearing a mask anyway. Just for that reason, though, like keep my nose warm and keep my face warm. Oh, yeah.
It's so good for that.
Honestly.
yeah, it's weird because I noticed like it was so weird because I was thinking, back in last May or whatever, last March and April, it's like wearing a mask sucked. And I was like, damn, I gotta wear this fucking mask. But then, like, when it got to almost being a year and it was fucking January and February, I was still wearing the mask outside, and I was like, I ain't taking this bitch off. Like, I don't care if I'm around people or not. Like, this is keeping my face warm. And now it's not face shirt season, but go buy a face shirt anyways.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
And I like the logo. How do y'all come up with the logo idea?
It was me. It's actually like film strip. Like it's like film strip, and then I tweaked it, did some creative things to it, and made it into an eye.
Oh shit.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. And I know it came up in my mind, and I don't remember why it came up in my mind, but there was something that triggered it. But you had the wonderful, beautiful motherfucking Joe Warren looking at y'all shit and being like, this is it. This is it. What song was he listening to?
Run.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I
And
love
why
that
does Joe
dude.
Warren's name stick out to me?
He's a promoter for the Masquerade, and he booked us for a lot of shows. So I don't know if that's why his
Yeah,
name.
Yeah,
rings a
my
bell.
generation of working with the Masquerade, he wouldn't have been there. It would have been too long ago. But
Way
I
too
know
long
his
ago.
name because I saw it and I was like, oh, Joe Warren likes their shit. And I'm like, why do I know that name?
Yeah, Joe's just really well plugged to the Atlanta
Big
local.
time.
Like, I'll message Joe and I'll be like, hey man, do you know any hip hop artists who want to collab? And he'll be like, give me 1 minute. And then he comes back with a list of 15. And I'm like, and they're all good. And I'm like,
Yep.
wow. And he just knows all these people. And Joe's just really like supportive of the music scene. So we joke around, we call him Papa Joe because like I don't know, he's just really there and he just wants to see everybody thrive.
He does, man. Like he's such a legit dude. Like I went to his party I think 2 years ago, and it's just all these different musicians. Like I think 5 bands played, but after the cops kept getting caught and shit. But it's just all these different people. It's like, oh, I do this. Oh, I rap. Oh, I sing in the opera. It's like I've never met anyone that sings at an opera, but Joe has them at their party. Just
Yep.
crazy shit.
Yep. He knows anybody and everybody in Atlanta. That's what it feels like, at least.
Yeah.
No, he does.
Scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Joe on this post and make share it.
Yes. Anyone in the local scene, fucking Joe knows of them, or he's been around them, he's booked them, he's done something with them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hell
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Fuck yeah. Well, I hope that you all stay black and don't be whack. It's been another episode.
Deuces.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.